A cold wind sweeps across the open Ukrainian fields as the camera follows a single military truck rolling through the dim early morning light. The sky is gray, heavy, and silent, but beneath that silence, something is shifting. It is the kind of stillness that comes right before a major turning point. Moments later, a sudden crack of distant engine noise breaks through the quiet. It isn't thunder, it isn't weather. It is the sound of a Russian drone unit preparing for another mission, one linked repeatedly to attacks on civilian areas. They are hidden, confident, and unaware that their location has been discovered. What follows next is a moment that will change the course of this region's frontline operations. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Conflict Front Stories channel. Please subscribe and like my videos to support the work and get more updates from around the world. Today, we are diving into one of the most critical and revealing developments in the ongoing war, Ukraine's destruction of a Russian drone unit that investigators say was connected to several strikes on civilian infrastructure. This isn't just another battlefield update. It is a moment shaped by intelligence, timing, and the growing importance of drone warfare in modern conflict. The exterior scene opens over a wide stretch of countryside, a landscape scarred by months of tension and movement. Ukrainian forces have been tracking the drone unit for several weeks, using both ground reconnaissance and aerial monitoring. The unit operated from a concealed location, moving frequently and staying hidden under natural cover. But technology has shifted the advantage. Infrared signatures, radio signal intercepts, and satellite data have been feeding into Ukrainian command centers day and night. Eventually, all lines of information pointed to one place, a cluster of vehicles and operators stationed near a small industrial compound that had been abandoned long before the war. Inside a dimly lit Ukrainian command room, the atmosphere is intense but calm. Officers review the last batch of drone surveillance. The screens show a zoomed-out image of the suspected Russian unit. Several drone launch platforms are arranged in a small semicircle, next to supply trucks with tarps partially covering their equipment. Analysts speak in short, clipped phrases as they confirm that the signals match the fingerprints of the drone group previously connected to multiple civilian area strikes. The interior room feels tight, filled with urgency and the awareness of the mission's importance. The decision is made quickly. The target is locked, the location is confirmed, and the operation must begin before the unit relocates again. Back outside, Ukrainian units begin to move into position. The early morning light creates long shadows across the landscape as soldiers adjust equipment, communicate quietly, and finalize their approach. They understand the stakes. This drone unit has been able to evade destruction before by moving swiftly and using terrain as camouflage. But this time, their advantage has faded. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone circles high overhead, invisible to the operators below who remain focused on their own mission preparation. They are unaware that their signals have been tracked, their patterns analyzed, their location triangulated with precision. The camera shifts back to the Ukrainian control vehicle, where operators are guiding their own drones toward the objective. The monitor shows a live feed of the Russian unit. One drone technician in the Russian group is working on assembling a small launcher. Another appears to be reviewing communications equipment. Their focus is on technical routines rather than situational awareness. And this moment of vulnerability is exactly what Ukrainian forces have been waiting for. The internal section of the Ukrainian drone control cabin is filled with soft beeping and quiet coordination, each operator monitoring data streams and confirming visual markers. The interior is calm but determined, a contrast to the tension outside. The mission begins as the Ukrainian drones descend. The Russian team detects something but too late. Confusion spreads among them as they scramble to understand what is happening. Within seconds, Ukrainian precision strikes disable the command node of the Russian operators. The drone platforms are hit before they can be relocated or concealed. The Ukrainian drones maneuver methodically, guided by higher, resolution sensors, and the operators watching every movement from kilometers away. As the dust settles and the landscape quiets again, Ukrainian ground units begin moving closer to confirm what their drones achieved. They proceed cautiously, aware that abandoned equipment can pose dangers. The exterior scene shows vehicles advancing slowly along a narrow dirt path, surrounded by tall, dry grass. A light breeze moves across the terrain as Ukrainian soldiers secure the area with disciplined movements. The once active drone unit is now silent, no longer a threat to nearby towns or villages. Interior scenes from Ukrainian vehicles show soldiers communicating back to command, describing the condition of the equipment left behind. They document the remnants of the drone launch platforms, control consoles, and signal amplifiers. Some items provide clear proof of the unit's connection to previous operations, confirming earlier intelligence assessments. One soldier quietly reflects on how many families nearby had been living in fear of nighttime drone activity. His voice carries a mix of relief and focus, knowing that each eliminated unit reduces the risk to civilians. The story expands to provide context about why this particular drone group mattered so much. Over recent months, Russian forces have increasingly relied on mobile drone teams to strike not only military positions, but also power stations, communication hubs, and residential zones. The intent behind some of these operations has been widely criticized by international observers. Ukraine has responded by strengthening its air defense grid and dramatically improving its drone hunting tactics. They now use multi-layered detection systems that combine radar, signal analysis, and real-time drone tracking. Back on the exterior landscape, Ukrainian soldiers continue carefully examining the captured items. The sky has begun to shift to a clearer blue, and the sunlight glints off damaged equipment. The scene looks calm, but the implications ripple far beyond the immediate area. Destroying this drone unit sends a message not only tactically but strategically. Mobility and concealment are no longer enough to protect mobile strike teams. Ukrainian intelligence and drone supremacy have reached a new level. Inside a Ukrainian intelligence tent, officers analyze newly gathered data from the site. They compare the components with previously recovered drone fragments from civilian attack zones. The similarities confirm that the same operators were involved. This discovery strengthens the case for identifying broader chains of command within Russian drone operations. The interior feels organized and methodical, with analysts working quickly but systematically. Meanwhile, civilians in nearby settlements begin hearing about the successful strike. Word spreads through local networks that the drone team thought responsible for several of the recent nighttime disturbances has been neutralized. A sense of temporary relief settles over families that have grown accustomed to sudden alarms and interrupted sleep. Some residents describe how they would sit awake on particularly tense nights, listening to the distant hum of engines and hoping the drones wouldn't approach their homes. Now, at least in this region, that threat has been reduced. The narrative shifts back to the battlefield perspective. Ukrainian military strategists discuss how modern warfare has changed dramatically. Traditional artillery remains important, but drones have transformed the speed and style of operations. Small teams with portable equipment can create large-scale disruption, making them both effective and dangerous. For Ukraine, countering these units is not just a matter of defense, but a necessity for protecting civilian lives. Eliminating one team helps, but it also highlights how many more still operate across the vast conflict zones. The story returns to an interior scene of the Ukrainian control room later that evening. Operators review the mission footage, marking moments where their drones performed exceptionally well and identifying areas for improvement. These after-action evaluations help refine tactics for future operations. The room is filled with quiet conversations, technical analyses, and a sense of progress. Despite exhaustion, The team knows that what they achieve today will influence how similar missions unfold in the coming weeks. Outside, the evening sun casts long shadows across the field where the Russian drone unit once operated. The area is quiet again, but the evidence remains. Ukrainian engineers begin loading recovered parts into trucks for deeper examination. Some of these components may reveal manufacturing origins or signal frequencies that could help track other units. The process is slow, detailed, and essential for building a clearer picture of the drone network. The story zooms out to cover international reactions. News of the operation spreads quickly across global outlets. Commentators analyze what this means for the future of drone warfare. Many note that Ukraine's growing ability to hunt down mobile units proves that technology and intelligence gathering can be as decisive as force. Others focus on the moral dimension, emphasizing that targeting units linked to civilian attacks is an important step toward protecting vulnerable populations. Back near the front line, Ukrainian troops pack up and prepare to move to their next assignment. The mission is complete, but the war continues. The soldiers speak quietly among themselves, reflecting on how the destruction of one drone team can make a difference for nearby towns. Their voices carry a mixture of pride and weariness. They understand the importance of their work, but also feel the weight of ongoing responsibility. The exterior environment is calm, but beneath that calm lies the reality that new threats can emerge at any time. As night falls, Ukrainian drone operators launch new reconnaissance flights to monitor the wider region. They scan for unusual radio traffic, heat signatures, or patterns that could indicate another mobile unit setting up somewhere nearby. The operation against the drone team may be over, but the broader mission continues without pause. The interior of the drone control cabin is dimly lit, with screens glowing softly as operators guide their drones across the landscape. Their focus remains unwavering. The script shifts toward reflection. The destruction of this particular drone unit was not just a tactical win, but a reminder of how central technology has become in this war. It demonstrated the importance of intelligence cooperation, the speed of modern military adaptation, and the rising role of drone countermeasures. Every successful operation becomes a lesson for the next. Every piece of captured equipment becomes a clue for understanding how the enemy evolves. The camera returns to the quiet, empty field where the Russian unit once stood. The structures are empty, the equipment cleared, and the air still. Nature begins reclaiming the space, a small reminder that peace creeps in whenever conflict recedes, even if only briefly. The scene closes with the soft sound of wind moving through the grass, a contrast to the tension earlier in the day. Back in the studio voiceover, the narrative prepares to close. The operation against the Russian drone team highlights a major turning point in the evolving conflict. It shows that even highly mobile units cannot operate with impunity. It proves that targeted intelligence-driven missions can protect civilians and weaken the tools used against them. And it reminds us again that technology is no longer just part of modern warfare, it is at the center of it. Thank you for watching this detailed breakdown of how Ukraine successfully destroyed a Russian drone unit linked to civilian attacks. If you found this analysis informative, remember to subscribe and like the video to support the Conflict Front Stories channel. Your support helps keep these updates consistent and accurate. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you in the next story.